Why do we keep doing the things we know that no longer serve us? Number one. Number two, why do we keep doing the things that no longer move us towards our goals? Dr. V says. Number three, why the fuck would you keep doing the same things that actively go against you? Okay, chapter 9. Great book. Life's two most important questions are why and why not. The trick is knowing which one to ask. Acquiring some understanding of why we do things is often a prerequisite to change. This is especially true when talking about repetitive patterns of behavior that do not serve us well. Like, why the fuck do I keep doing the same thing? This is what Socrates meant when he said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Why do we do the things we do? Why do we keep doing the things that no longer serve us? That's a better question. Why do we do the things we do? Okay, that's one. Two, why do we keep doing the things that no longer serve us? Why do we keep doing the things that actually hurt us, that harm us, that actually set us back on our life? For example, and it sounds innocuous, spending money you don't have, going shopping at the mall. Oh, it's a discount. Oh, it's, pre-Black Friday shopping. Like, you don't need another shower curtain. You don't need more slippers, but they're half off. Who cares? See, it's those small things. Why do I keep doing these small things that not only don't serve me, but actually actively go against my goals, that actively hurt me? That more of us do not take his advice is testimony to the hard work and potential embarrassment that self-examination implies. Hard work and potential embarrassment. The reasons for what we do, for how we live, are often obscure. We imagine that our behavior is, for the most part, a matter of conscious choice. Freud's major contribution to psychology was his theory of the unconscious mind functioning below the level of our awareness and influencing our behavior. Hey, Dr. V and baby Milani here for a quick word for our sponsor, Resellers Program. Resellers is the quick, easy way for average people like you and me to make a free $750 a month without hosting parties or doing sales. It's not an MLM. There's no credit check to see if you can be approved for it. It's a free $750 a month. Check it out, www.ultimatemoneytree.com, or just text DRV to my friend Jerry at the number listed below. For many people, the idea that much of what we do is the product of motives of which we may be unaware is frightening. It is especially disconcerting when one is asked to pay attention to dreams and slips of the tongue, to understand thoughts and impulses that we would rather not confront. As when President Nixon, in a speech before Congress during Watergate, said, "It is time to get rid of our discredited present welfare system." I didn't know he did that. Or as when Condoleezza Rice began a story, as I was telling President Bush, oh wow, President Nixon in a speech before Congress during Watergate said, "It is time to get rid of our discredited present welfare system." Discredited present welfare system. That's funny. Once we acknowledge that there exists below our consciousness a swamp of repressed desires, resentments, and motivations that affect our day-to-day behavior, we have made an important step towards self-understanding. Once again, paradox reigns. If we deny the existence of such an inner life, as did Nixon, who was terrified of psychiatrists, we will be surprised when our determined efforts at control collapse. Why did he choose to tape and preserve the incriminating conversations that destroy his presidency? Think about that. Why did he tape these conversations when he could have just not taped them? Why would he have the evidence, right? Ignoring the existence of our subconscious tends to have troubling results. We notice first the consequences of such unawareness, destructive patterns of behavior in which we find ourselves surprised that we repeatedly make the same mistakes. Surprise! I did it again. Whoops, I did it again. To take a cultural cliche, what of the woman who chooses a series of men who resemble her father, right down to their alcoholism and penchant for abuse? Or the man whose several jobs all end unhappily in some conflict with authority? To change such habitual and maladaptive patterns of behavior requires first some recognition of the pattern. People tend to resist this, preferring to invoke coincidence or simply focus on individual events in a way that places responsibility on others. So, if our man with authority problems also gets a series of speeding tickets, it is often hard for him to connect this with his job difficulties. That one sentence is so well written. Y'all, I know I keep talking about how good he writes, but that one sentence ties in three things so smoothly in a surprising way that gives you a major aha without fucking having to ramble for an hour. So if our man with authority problems, you clearly see this man with authority problems, also gets a series of speeding tickets, like you can't tell me how fast to drive, authority, it is often hard for him to connect this with his job difficulties. You know, I'm not listening to my supervisor, he's an idiot. If people are reluctant to answer why questions in their lives, they also tend to have trouble with why not. The latter implies risk. Steeped in habit and fearful of change, most of us are to some degree risk averse, particularly in activities that may involve rejection. We tend to act as if our sense of ourselves is fragile and must be protected. One would think that these fears would improve with age and experience. The opposite is usually the case. One of the most common and important pursuits, the effort to find a partner in middle age, is for most a frightening undertaking, burdened with hesitation and avoidance. The struggle against loneliness is routinely associated with depression. The popularity of internet matchmaking sites is testimony to the need for companionship. Because this culture enshrines youth and beauty and devalues older people, it is hard, because this culture enshrines youth and beauty and devalues older people, it is hard to feel desirable and confident enough to resume dating and consider intimacy in our middle years. So I'm curious, if you're single in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're having to start over, comment. How does that make, is it frightening? Is it scary? Is it harder? Because he's right. Like, we value the youth and beauty. And so now when we're older, trying to find a mate, like, dude, like, I used to be beautiful. I used to be funny. I used to be a world famous surgeon. Even our vocabulary betrays us. Boyfriend and girlfriend seem odd characterizations for people in their 40s and 50s. They often don't say that, huh? When presented with new things, the operative question may be, why not? But people frequently defend themselves from disappointment by asking why. This can lead to the creation of endless excuses for not taking the chance implied in declaring oneself available. So listen to what he said again. This can lead to the creation of endless excuses for not taking the chance implied in declaring oneself available. Many choose continued loneliness over the difficult task of getting to know new people, with its attendant risk of rejection. All the good men are married, or all these women have so much baggage, are refrains that I am accustomed to hearing. Amen? Comment if you said that before. All the good men are taken. All these women have so much baggage. All the men have baggage. I don't want four new kids. She has 4 kids. 5 baby daddies. I frequently ask people who are risk averse, what is the biggest chance you have ever taken? That's a good question. What is the biggest chance you have ever taken? People begin to realize what safe lives they have chosen to lead. If you really haven't taken big chances, risks, I took a lot of chances buying property, buying a mobile home park, buying an RV park that I couldn't afford. I was broke, I was swinging deals. People begin to realize what safe lives they have chosen to lead. The ways that people test themselves, contact sports, backpacking through Europe, military service, are foreign to most. Something is lost in our obsessive concern with safety and security. Some spirit of adventure. Dude, our obsessive concern with safety and security is the opposite of adventure. That's another way to say it, huh? Life is a gamble in which we don't get to deal the cards. We are nevertheless obligated to play them to the best of our ability. It's not the cards you're dealt, but how you play them. The wager with the highest stakes of all is with our hearts. Where do we learn to do this? How do we balance the risk of making mistakes against the certainty of aloneness if we play it safe? The certainty of aloneness if you play it safe. Those of y'all who are single and you want a relationship or you're looking, now I say a good relationship, not any relationship, right? The certainty of aloneness if you play it safe. Nowhere in our lives are the extremes of cynicism on the one hand and foolhardiness on the other so dangerous. Yeah. Extreme of cynicism on one hand, and you can't be foolhardy about your dating either. We have a friend who's being a little foolhardy right now. Unlike most games, the outcome of this one is meant to reward everyone concerned. If we play as if this is a competition, we will lose. And yet, how do we determine that the other person shares a cooperative vision? How do you find a partner who wants to see you grow and succeed and is happy for you when you do succeed? How do you find a man who's going to be excited for you when you make more money than him? Which is a problem for most men. Can I have an aha there? Here is where we must accept risk. Sometimes a lot of it in order to win. In no other activity do we expect to be skilled from the outset. In no other activity do we expect to be skilled from the outset except for fucking dating. Like, oh, you don't know how to go on a date? Like, no. Everyone accepts the idea of a learning curve accompanied by sometimes painful mistakes before we become adept. No one would expect to become good at skiing without falling down. And yet many people are surprised at the hurt that routinely accompanies our efforts to find someone worthy of our love. Like a fallen relationship is like falling when you ski. You get better. Hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. You don't pick the same alcoholic, abusive person your dad was. To take the risks necessary to achieve this goal is an act of courage. To refuse to take them, to protect our hearts against all loss, is an act of despair. That's the chapter. Let me read that last sentence again. 2 sentences. To take the risks necessary to achieve this goal is an act of courage. So give yourself credit. You're being courageous. You're opening yourself up to others. To refuse to take them, to protect our hearts against all loss, is an act of despair. Despair. You're not going to win. Why do we keep doing the things we know that no longer serve us? Number one. Number two, why do we keep doing the things that no longer move us towards our goals? Dr. V says. Number three, why the fuck would you keep doing the same things that actively go against you? Not neutral, but against. That actually set you back. dating or moving in or having another alcoholic, abusive man move into your house is not leaving you in neutral. You're not going to rescue them. It's actively going against you. And yet we keep doing it. Snacking at night is actively going against you. It's not helping you. Buying chips and junk food and cookies and peanut M&Ms, which I still haven't. Where are my peanut M&Ms Mason bought me? I didn't eat them. They are actively going against you. See, here's the thing. We think if we eat a small mini Snickers, no one's watching, no one will notice. It's actually, like, somehow we'll stay in neutral. Somehow we'll stay at 195 or 205. Like, no, it's actively moving against you. But I bought it on sale, but you didn't need it. So even if you got it half off, you still wasted that money because you didn't need it. So it actively went against you. And you keep doing it. Why do we keep doing it? So the frightening question is, why not? You know, what is the biggest risk you've taken in your whole life? Moved cross country, got married, got divorced a second time, traveled in Europe, joined the military. A bunch of y'all, I'm shocked, I'm impressed, did military service. Why do we keep doing the things we do is not nearly as interesting to me as why not? Why not go for it? Why not go buy a ranch? Why not see how much money you can raise? Why not see how far you can go? Why not see how strong you can get? Why not see if you can run a marathon? Start with a 5K, then do a 10K, then do a half marathon, then do a full marathon. Why not see? Or walk it. So why not see if you can walk a 10K? You know, for a lot of y'all, that's hard. That's a big thing. And 10K is like hard. You know, like 5 miles or something. So, an unexamined life is not worth living. Asking yourself, why do you keep doing these behaviors that no longer serve you? Why don't you go for it? Why do you keep dating the same guy in a different body?